For two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the Armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo! This is the Armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh.
What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 230 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. We are, of course, part of the Going for Two Live podcast network. You can follow them at Going for Two Live. Of course, we're live every Wednesday and Friday night on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, syndicated in all major podcast networks, and streaming in the Going for Two app for iOS and Android. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Mr. Ryan Steerfoss. Ryan, what's up, man?
Dude, doing good. Popped myself almost back in the top 50 of the Scott Fish Balls, killing 56.
Good stuff.
Would be there if I didn't make one of the all-time dumbest moves ever, where I fat-thumbed the lineup button and started injured Sammy Watkins instead of Jalen Waddle.
Oof.
Or I'd be in the top 25.
Brutal.
So I'm a little sick about that, but I'd like to say it was an app error.
You fat-fingered your roster for this week. I think I fat-fingered the entire draft because my team is terrible. So,
I mean, some of us are just better at fantasy football than others. No big deal.
All right.
Are you still in our Good 18 league? I can't remember.
No, I am not. I got eliminated in the second week.
Just making sure. Great teammate.
Yes. It's not a good year for me in either of those leagues, but in my main dynasty league, I'm still doing all right. So, all right, joining us tonight for the first time. Well, we've interacted quite a bit on Twitter. She is a renowned kicker supporter, which we know we don't like here over at Going for Two, but we decided to go ahead and let her come on anyway. Linda Godfrey, she's the host of Locked On Pokes podcast, as well as the Fantasy Besties podcast. You could follow her at on Twitter at Lindellions, spelled Lindellions. What's up, Linda?
Well, I'm starting to question if you told me that the intro, my mic was gonna be on because there was the kicker diss at the beginning. You were like, she's definitely going to interrupt if I don't tell her.
Yes.
But that was Gabe, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
He is so easy. He's so catchy. And I, bobbed my head. And then he dissed a kicker. And I was like, I was already dancing. But yeah. Fantastic intro. And I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, definitely. And we had Gabe on a few weeks ago, and we kind of talked about that. And I think even when we mentioned him on Twitter, he said, don't show Linda this intro because he knew he had that kicker diss in there. Good stuff.
Yeah, he's fantastic at what he does, for sure.
All right, so give my listeners a little bit about yourself, what you do in the fantasy space.
Well, you kind of covered it. I've, this season in particular, tried to hone in on my kicker rankings and doing them week to week, which John Bauer suggested doing. There's a lot of streaming that goes on in leagues that have kickers, so full end of season rankings don't do a whole lot from a week to week standpoint. And so he suggested that, and it's going really well, but it consumes quite a bit of my time. And when I'm not working on that, I'm Big 12 and college football pretty full-time right now.
Good stuff. So what kind of metrics do you use to rank your kickers? I'm just curious. Like, is there... I mean, there's like, there's all kinds of stuff for the skill players. I'm just curious to what you look at each week for. Is it like just weather related, or is there more to it?
Well, I rarely am concerned with weather and whether it's in a dome or not. I look at field goal attempts per team. Some teams are way more likely to try a field goal. Right now, Nick Folk for the Patriots is kicking all the time. Meanwhile, Brandon Staley and the Chargers, they'll go for it on 4th and 9. Like, they're not going to try a field goal. So I look at that. I look at teams that allow the most points to kickers, red zone defenses, how often coaches go for it on 3rd down. I mean, there's certainly a lot implied totals, like the Vegas totals, because they know more than anybody. But, it doesn't always work out. But I'm pretty into my process. I think it's pretty on its nose. So.
Good stuff. Yeah, definitely a unique situation there with ranking kickers. I always hated ranking kickers for fantasy pros. But yeah, good
I
stuff.
just kind of skip it normally, and
yeah,
pray none of my leagues have it. And the leagues that have it, I'm just like, I'm gonna start this guy. I hope he plays.
Yeah.
Hope he gets a kick.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into the 5 101s.
And now the 5 101s.
All right, how this works, I'm going to give you 5 different categories, and you give me your 101 of that category. All right, Linda, for the first one here, I want your 101 comedy movie.
I want to say something cool like Grandma's Boy or Superbad, but I know every word to Pitch Perfect, and I would put that in my comedy section. It's definitely Pitch Perfect.
Nice. That's actually. I'm gonna admit that I actually seen all of those.
I enjoy that.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that
I've seen
movie
it multiple times.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yep.
I can't talk trash. It was great.
It was a good movie. I have to
It was
admit.
great. Yeah.
All right, so that was a good start there. Let's go to music genre. What's your 101?
Anything that I can sing, my music list goes from musicals to 2000s pop punk to country music in the blink of an eye. So if I feel like I can sing it good, I'm like, I like that music.
Good stuff. So we got to have you on the show to sing. Is that what you're telling us?
Now,
no.
By singing good, does that mean just the words, or are you actually a good singer?
That was my next question.
That's a loaded statement.
My 7-year-old thinks I should be on The Voice. I'm not saying that she's probably not even that biased, so I'm probably the next big star. I just haven't even honed in on that.
I'm glad we got you on early then.
Yep, get it early. All right, adult beverage. What's your 101 adult beverage?
I drink Truly lemonades like I probably should drink water.
I've never had a Truly. I've never had one. I never even tried one. Ryan, have you ever tried one?
I think so. I don't like carbonated drink. I can't do the carbonation.
I don't know. I had it once and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just drink this forever. So here we are.
My house is filled with sparkling water at all time, and I will not touch it. It grosses me out. I don't know.
That's a very weird thing there, Ryan. I'm going to have to explore that a little bit more often in another podcast. Your obsession with not liking sparkling water.
I don't like carbonated things that shouldn't be carbonated.
All right, fair enough. All right, what about your 101 for a hobby that's not related to fantasy or football?
As if I have the time. I am like an arts and crafts freak. Next to me, my bookshelf is just every project that I've ever started in the arts and crafts world. That's my, planning birthday parties and, building games and shit. That's my,
good stuff.
I always spend too much money, but it's fun.
All right, that's awesome. And you said you had a 7-year-old. I bet you she loves that.
Oh, yeah. Parties and Halloween costumes. That's where I thrive.
Good stuff.
As a mother.
All right, and the last one here is places you would like to visit.
I really want to go to Greece. because one time I watched Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, and Alexis Bledel went to Greece, and it was so pretty. And like that, I was like, well, I'll just want to do that for my entire life.
Yeah, Greece would definitely be a good spot to go. My dad, when I was younger, he was in the military, and he went to Greece for a year. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to go, so he got to stay there by himself. But he sent pictures home, and I'm like, damn, I wish I could have gone with him because it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty.
All right, let's get into some fantasy.
News and notes from around the league.
News and notes, as always, brought to you by the Dynasty Trade Calculator. Everybody hates bad trade offers, right? No one wants to be that guy. Never make a bad offer again with Dynasty Trade Calculator. Visit goingfor2.com/DTC. Sign up for $15 a year. That's right. All you do is visit goingfor2.com/DTC. Get the best trade calculator for $15 a year. Stop guessing. Start calculating. We'll kick off the news and notes here with Browns injuries. It's a pretty extensive list here, Ryan. I'm going to go to you first here. Let's first talk about the running backs. Chubb and Hunt both out for this week. They got D'Ernest Johnson and Demetric Felton. Any interest in those guys?
Honestly, at this point in time, I kind of not. Just because I know it's really cool to like them, and it makes sense because it's a run-first team. But we see a bit of a split backfield with Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And these guys definitely fill the roles. D'Ernest Johnson, obviously, is the Chubb role. Demetric Felton's the Kareem Hunt role, where he's going to be pass catcher, which means it's going to go basically on how the game flow is going. And Denver's a game that could go either way. I'd probably feel better starting Felton out of those two this week just because it's pass catching, and I can't see Cleveland winning this game and being up. So if I had to start one, it'd be him. But I'm going to try to trade for Nick Chubb this week over anything. Like, that's where my interest would be, not in these two at the moment.
Yeah, as a Chubb owner, it gives me hope that they did not put him on IR. They put Kareem Hunt on IR, and they have yet to put Chubb on there, so that tells me that hopefully he'll be back within the next game or two. So I'm holding out hope on that one. Linda, I'm going to go to...
shambles. Why would we want any of them this week? Like,
yeah.
If I'm Denver, I am loading the box because I don't think Case Keenum's going to beat me.
Yeah,
it's just ugly. Like, I don't want it.
Yeah, so speaking of Case Keenum, let's go talk about him, Linda, a little bit. So Baker Mayfield obviously is also ruled out with a shoulder injury. Case Keenum is there. OBJ is also probably going to be ruled out. I think he's still officially listed as questionable. Is there anything in this passing part of this offense that you want to do with in fantasy? I know we're in bye week hell this week in week 7. So, guys like DPJ, any of the tight ends, Case Keenum for that matter.
I love DPJ. Like, I'm not sure I'm thrilled to start him in like a managing league, but like you said, it's by hell week. So I can understand. I think he has some upside. Every time he gets the opportunity with the football, he does awesome shit with the football. So I hope he gets that opportunity with Case Keenum. Case Keenum is average at best. I mean, I don't think he's bad by any means. I think he's better than probably a handful of starting quarterbacks right now in the league. But because there's going to be a severe lack of running game, that whole offense is going to be a mess. And Denver's secondary is a mess. And that game, like, we joke a lot about Thursday night games, but that one's going to, I think, take the cake this year.
Yeah,
it's a bad game. It
could legitimately end up being Drew Lock versus Case Keenum because Teddy's already hobbled. Like, one good hit from Myles Garrett, and shit will hit the fan.
It's brutal.
It's an ugly Thursday night game.
Yeah, and
it's an ugly week.
It's ugly week in general with that. Like I mentioned, it's bye week hell. Week 7 has been hell for everybody. I play DFS. I play DraftKings, and I play every slate, including the Thursday night slate. I'm dreading trying to build a lineup with these guys tomorrow night. It's going to be a very interesting lineup to say the least. So, overall, I agree with all of you. I think that Felton is the one that I would want to own with the pass catching ability there. Pass catchers, if I don't have to start one of them, I definitely don't want to. I do have DPJ in one league, and unfortunately, I do have to start him. So I'm hoping that Linda is right, that he has some upside there. Can give it to me. Case Keenum in a 2-quarterback league, maybe you could start him, but I definitely don't love that prospect either. All right, let's move on to a receiver here. This is so unfortunate, Ryan. I know me and you liked this guy when his rookie career. I mean, his rookie season.
Whoa. No.
Yes.
I was not. I've never been a Paris Campbell person.
I'll roll back the tape.
You stop that right now.
So yes, Paris Campbell's who we're talking about. Another season-ending injury. This is probably his third season injury, something like that. If you're in Dynasty, are you just getting rid of this guy? I mean, at this point, what's left for him to do, right?
Yes. So this is what it's looked like since 2019. Foot injury, abdomen strain, MCL and PCL strains, concussion, foot fracture, hand fracture, abdominal strain, hamstring sprain. That's in 3 seasons. This dude is like a walking freaking medical journal. If I can find any sucker to take him for a third, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm out.
Yeah, I think I'm out too. Linda, are you out on Paris Campbell, or you think there's any hope for him next year?
No, I was pretty out on Paris Campbell anyway. Like, I celebrated the touchdown with him from last week before the season-ending injury. So you're like, people have been waiting for that for years, and then so like at least he had that before the injury. So maybe you can get somebody to buy it. There's still some truthers. I'm just now dropping Justice Hills across all my dynasty leagues. So like, somebody's attached. If you can find that person in your league, you can make that happen.
I gotta bring up Justice Hill like that. I'm
coping. This is how I cope.
Paris Campbell was my wide receiver 9 in that draft class, so no, I was not high on Paris Campbell, Jeffrey.
All right, fine. I seem to remember you pumping Paris Campbell up.
Nah.
All right, so I misremembered that one. Let's stick with receivers here. Julio Jones, another injury, Ryan. I had a lot of flack when I posted my top 12 receivers on Twitter, and people were saying that Julio Jones should still be in that top 12. They think that it was just the off season last year and that he was injured, but injured again for the second time already. Is it time to give up on Julio Jones?
Kind of, yeah. I don't feel right doing it, but like, he's gonna injure their their passing offense has kind of gone backwards a little bit. It's the Derrick Henry show, and there's not much to go around. I mean, we're not even seeing A.J. Brown producing, and he's a target behind him. I'm not comfortable with Julio anymore. Like, he's wide receiver 3 territory for me and healthy now.
Yeah. What about you, Linda? What about your thoughts on Julio Jones?
I was already nervous about Julio Jones going to Tennessee with A.J. Brown, and like, I remember the commentary on Twitter, everybody was just like, it's fine. And we were like, is it though? And it hasn't been fine. It's not the same case as Atlanta. People were saying, well, he just did it with Ridley. Well, it's not. They're not comparable like that. And like you said, Tennessee's passing offense in general has just been pretty subpar. So I think specifically for this season, I'm pretty out on Julio Jones.
Can I ask a question for you two to answer? Who would you rather have on your team, Julio or AJ Green?
AJ Green.
AJ Green.
Yep.
Can you imagine it?
Damn.
Could you imagine answering that 3 months ago?
Yeah, that would have been a totally different.
You guys would laugh at
yeah.
for the other reason.
100%.
That's why this sport's so fun. I love this game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm with you all. Julio Jones. I know the narrative into the season was, the vacated targets. Corey Davis is gone. Jonnu Smith is gone. They just all assumed that Julio would just absorb all those targets. That's just not how offenses work. And we've seen that. I think Julio Jones has had one relevant fantasy game, I think, since he's been with Tennessee. Obviously, he hasn't played much, but only one game were you happy that you actually started him. So, yeah, I'm out on Julio. When healthy, like Ryan said, he's probably a flex position at best, maybe a wide receiver 3 on a bye week. But I'm not comfortable starting him in any of my leagues. Sticking with that same team there, we'll talk about Ryan Tannehill a little bit, and I'll go to you first this time, Linda. Tannehill was a consensus top 12 quarterback in rankings this offseason. He has not lived up to that billing. What are your thoughts on Tannehill?
Man, were we that tricked last season? I have so much Tannehill. He was my favorite QB2 target in Superflex leagues. I have a ton, and it's been super disappointing. Now, I'm not sure, we saw kind of at the end of the last game against the Bills kind of figure out that connection between Tannehill and A.J. Brown again. So maybe they can build off that, especially as A.J. Brown gets healthy. I'm not ready to give up yet on Tannehill. In Superflex leagues in 1 QB, I think you can go ahead and figure out a different plan of attack. But it blows. Like, I like Tannehill. I like what he can do. He can make it on his feet, too, when they get close to the end zone. But like I said, it's just been the Derrick Henry show every game.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan? What are your thoughts on Tannehill?
I think Tannehill is becoming what we thought he is. Like, he's a good quarterback who's startable on a pinch. He's probably a fantasy streamer in non-Superflex leagues or QB2 in Superflex. Like, I have him bunched around Derek Carr's and Carson Wentz and Kirk Cousins, those guys who aren't going to lose you games, but you can plug him and be okay with it. Like, he's a good, safe player, but he's far gone from winning you anything.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Ryan, I think he was so efficient the last couple of years and a half maybe. He was just, almost too efficient, where he was throwing touchdowns in a run-first offense with Derrick Henry. And I think we're just seeing that regression that should have been there even a little bit last year. And I think he's still startable. I'm not ready to give up on him quite just yet. But, I think I'd be worried if I was a Tannehill owner in a one-quarterback league. And I'd be looking for other options for sure. All right, let's move to a guy that had his debut last week, and this is for you, Ryan. I know you're a huge Ravens fan. I've been a huge fan of this guy. I drafted him everywhere, drafted him over every receiver except for Jamar Chase this past year. Rashad Bateman, how did he look last week?
Dude, he looked great, and they said they were going to, from the team, if all news, they said they were going to keep him a limited snap count this week, but he performed so well for him, they kept him in the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of his catches were for first downs on third down situations, which means Lamar already trusts him. He's such a good compliment to Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews. I think the big things are coming from him because he has that deep ball ability with how safe he showed his hands are. I think the breakout's coming. It might be a few weeks before you see that huge game, but it's coming.
Yeah, I just finished writing him up in my value DFS column for Fantasy Pros, and he played, I think, 65% of the snaps last week. Only Marquise Brown played more. The next closest one was, I think, 49% Devin Duvernay. So they definitely, if they were easing him in, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with him going forward.
Yeah, they said they tried to ease him in, and it just didn't work.
Right. What are your thoughts on
Lamar?
Oh, sorry. Nope. I was like, what are your thoughts on Bateman, Linda?
I like Rashad Bateman. He got dropped right before he came off IR in one of my home leagues.
Oof.
And I figured out a way to make that ad immediately. He got a significant amount of the target share, and right now, the concern always with the Ravens is that they're a run-first offense. Well, right now their run game is not great, so they have to throw the ball, and Lamar Jackson is as fine as a passer. He does a great job passing the ball. They've been fantastic through the air leading up to Rashad Bateman returning, and now he gets to take the morsels of what Duvernay and Prochet were getting and have them all to himself. So I'm excited about Bateman. I'm not worried about it. I think he has flex appeal the rest of the season, and he may work himself into wide receiver 2 weekly play.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because I had to start him in one of my leagues this week as a flex play with all these bye weeks. And same thing, I like what I saw. Like I said, I just wrote him up in my Fantasy Pros article. I think he's a start for DraftKings. He's like $3,400 on DraftKings. So that price is really good for what you're going to get from Bateman this week. So Bateman is definitely someone that if you are in a pinch right now, fire him up as a flex play. All right, Seahawks backfield, another backfield that's pretty banged up, Ryan. I know you've always been a Rashad Penny hater, but there's a good chance that he is the lead back this week if Alex Collins is listed out. What are your thoughts on Penny and this backfield in general?
I mean, very similar to how we talked about Cleveland. The Seahawks aren't the Seahawks without Russell Wilson. I know they rushed for 100, or we saw... Alex Collins rushed for 101 up Pittsburgh this week, and I guess Rashad Penny's better than him, maybe. But he's still, just because he's back from the IR doesn't mean he's fully healthy, doesn't mean they're going to give him a full workload right away, especially when Collins rushed for 100 last week. And when they play a team that's going to stop the box against them, who can actually stop the run, unlike Pittsburgh, it ain't gonna be as pretty. Like, I don't feel comfortable with it. I don't feel comfortable with anybody in that offense till Russ is back. And Rashad Penny's not that dude. Like, it hasn't changed. He's still a one-cut runner, one-dimensional. I'm not there.
Linda, what are your thoughts on Penny?
I am a noted Rashad Penny denier, and I don't like people who are like, well, when he gets the ball, he does good work with it. No, he doesn't. He gets stuffed over and over again, and then he gets like 43 carries one game, and people are like, well, he got good yardage that game. Yeah, well, that's all they did. I don't trust him. Yeah, like you said, it's just I don't want any part of that offense right now, which sucks because I have a lot of all of those pieces as well.
A lot of Tyler Lockett.
Yeah,
he's just not a creative. He's not a creative runner. If I was the Seahawks, I'd roll with Alex Collins in there.
Yeah, last I heard he was still questionable. I don't know if he'll play or not. But yeah, I think if Collins plays, he probably is the starter there. But if he's out, Penny's the guy. Who knows how he's going to look, though. Last one on here, Michael Thomas, eligible to return from the PUP list. I don't know if he'll return this week. Probably not. But my question, Ryan, is once he returns, is he just start him? Or are you waiting to see what he does first?
I mean, if they say he's starting in the way the season's gone, you probably have to start him. But it's still a weird situation because this injury was really quiet the whole way. Him coming off the PUP seems very quiet. Like, it all seems weird. And I feel like something's up where he either doesn't want to be there or there's contract. It's just off to me. I don't trust it. But like I said, if he's on my team, chances are the way the season's going, if he's back, you got to start him, at least in the flex. But I don't feel really great about it.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. It's been very quiet, and I think there was a rumor in the offseason. He denied it, saying that he was asking for a trade. He denied that. There's rumors of him and Sean Payton not getting along because he didn't get the surgery when they thought he should get the surgery. So a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
It's a weird situation. I don't trust weird.
Very much is, and of course Jameis Winston's the quarterback now too, so we don't have Drew Brees, and who knows how that's going to work out. Linda, what are your thoughts on Michael Thomas?
I think for sure if you drafted him and he's been in your IR spot for the first 7 weeks of football, then when he comes back, you have to start him because why else did you draft him? But I didn't trust this injury when it happened. Nope. There was at the end of last week, they were saying he's still several weeks out from being ready to play. I wouldn't have touched that with the 7-foot pole during draft season. If it works out, that's fantastic. If he comes back and does want to play for the Saints and plays, fantasy playoffs and does really well, it's great. And you did a fantastic job holding your IR spot all season, but I don't buy it.
Yeah.
The league's better with Slant Boy, but I'm with you. I don't buy it.
Yeah, I'm definitely not buying either. I also didn't draft him anywhere, no matter how far he fell. I wasn't taking him. I don't like sitting anybody on my bench or my IR spot for 6, 7, 8 weeks on the season. There's more value out there that can be had, and you're right. I mean, coming back from this injury, how is he going to look? Jameis Winston's thrown into the mix there. Who knows how this offense is going to look with him there? So yeah, no thanks. I'm out. If somebody else drafted him and they put him in and he's great, then I just missed out. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
All right, let's get to our next segment.
Cut them or keep them.
All right, cut them or keep them. We haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to list a bunch of guys here that are, redraft guys, obviously, that you may have to make a decision on if you're going to keep them on your roster and hope that they eventually give you back what you'd hope they would, or is it time to cut bait? And the first one on this list, I'll go to you first, Linda. This one's close to me because I'm a 49ers fan, but Mr. Brandon Ayuk, are you going to cut him or keep him?
I'm not ready to give up yet on Brandon Ayuk, and it's probably because I was so excited for this season. I really like what he does on the field, but I know Deebo Samuel seems to be the guy right now. But if they can lean into Ayuk even just a little bit, I think he has serious potential. So I'm not ready to give up just yet.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that as well, and not for the same reasons, though, only because Deebo Samuel is not the picture of health himself. I think last year when Ayuk had all his value, Kittle was out, Debo was out. There was no one there. Well, Kittle's already out. If Debo ends up being out for whatever reason, then Brandon Ayuk can have some value there. So that's why I'm holding on to him right now. What about you, Ryan? What are your thoughts on Ayuk?
I mean, if I have him, want to hold him, I'd like to cut him. Like, if there's something really good in the waivers, like in a small league, maybe. But, like, he has too much potential to cut. But, I mean, right now, you have Mohamed Sanu and Kyle Jasinski out targeting him right now, which is gross.
Yes, it is.
Like, it's really gross. And this offense isn't really passing it a ton. Like, I'll have him on my bench, but I don't want to play him.
Yeah, I agree.
No, right. Yeah.
Now, if Debo goes down, wheels up.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I can see him getting usage.
Yep, and we've seen this before. I mean, I've compared him to Dante Pettis. Pettis had a great rookie season. He got in Shanahan's doghouse, and then we never heard from him again. I'm not saying this is the same situation. I think Ayuk's more talented than Dante Pettis, but we've definitely seen this happen before with Shanahan.
Is his ego just, like, absurd? Shanahan's, like, for real. I'm saying this, but I'm not joking.
Yes.
Like, is it, like, absurd as a fan?
Yes, it is. It most definitely is. And I think he thinks he can just put anybody back there, and they're just going to be just as good as the next guy.
Not as much.
All right, we're going to skip number 2. We already talked about him a little bit. We'll go to the third one on the list there. Miles Sanders, who's been, no fault of his own. He's just not getting the touches. I think he had 2 touches going into the fourth quarter in this past game. Ended up with 9 touches and actually looked good in the fourth quarter. I don't know why the Eagles don't give him the ball more. But Miles Sanders, Ryan, cut him or keep him?
I mean, you got to keep him because if they learn at all what to do, he's been fantastic. Like, anytime he touches the ball, he's making plays. And it just doesn't make sense why they're not giving the ball. Like, how are you not learning this? I just hope common sense kicks in the coach, because you can't trade him right now, and you can't cut him. Like, he's stuck on your team, and you almost have to play him if he's on your team. It's a terrible situation, but I guess I'm going to keep him for hopes that Sirianni just gets his shit together.
Yeah. What about you, Linda? Cut him or keep him, Miles Sanders?
Yeah, I agree. I think you have to keep him. I'm not starting him anywhere that I don't have to, because I just don't, last week he got like 1 touch in the first half. That's insane.
It's crazy.
What are you doing? And your passer is not, like, that's not even his skill set. What's happening? But I think you have to keep him and hope that they kind of figure it out on the Eagles offense. And if they do, then it's fantastic. He's probably going to go off 1 week on my bench, and hopefully from that point forward they figure it out and he's playable. But I don't think you can drop him yet.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. I actually wrote him up in that same column. I wrote up the other value player, and I think Miles Sanders. I actually went so far as to predict that this will be the week that he has his breakout week. I think seeing him in that fourth quarter against a very tough rushing defense actually, get some yards. I think their eyes finally opened up, like, hey, this guy's actually pretty good. We should probably give him the ball. So I'm actually hoping that he has a big week this week.
Why don't they just run a zone read offense? Like a zone run offense. Like, it would kill with Jalen Hurts' rushing ability. Like, do like what Baltimore did really early on for Lamar.
Yep.
It would be so good for him and so awesome for Miles Sanders.
Agreed. All right, so in the for time purposes, we're just going to go 1 and 1 all the way down here. So let's start off with Robbie Anderson. Cut him or keep him, Ryan?
Cut. Done. I'm out of Robbie Anderson. Like, he's getting targets. It's not good targets. He's not a priority on that offense. I'm out.
Yeah, and he dropped a bunch of passes last week, too, and the targets that he did get. It wasn't to the end that he actually caught a touchdown. All right, Kenny Gallaudet, Linda. Cut him or keep him?
I'm cutting Kenny Gallaudet. And I may be the minority there, but I'm pretty over the KG in New York.
Yeah, I think I'm cutting him as well. I mean, he seems to never be healthy for one, and then even when he is healthy, the one game he was healthy for the whole game, he dropped like 4 passes. So I am also out on Kenny Gallaudet as well. Ryan, Trey Sermon, cut him or keep him?
I think I'm out on Sermon, man. Like, I don't want to be. They like Mitchell. They they like committees. I'm just out. Like, and I don't want to be. Dynasty's different, but for this year, see ya.
Yep, I'm with you on that one as well. Cut Sermon. They do like Mitchell a lot more.
I did it this week, actually. I'm gonna be honest.
You cut him in a redraft league? Yeah, I have him in one league, and
yesterday.
I'm holding him through this week because there's a situation that I might have to start him depending on some situations with injuries. But yeah, I think he's definitely droppable. Myles Gaskins, Linda, cut him or keep him?
Man, I'm gonna go with keep, but on a very short leash because I'm pretty over it. When they really got him like on the perimeter and involved in the passing game, he played really well. But running hit, like, he's not that big back brutal runner. That's just not who he is. So when they use him like that, it does not go well. So hopefully they can figure out a way to use him, because if they don't, I think I give him about a week or two more before I move on and hope I hit somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that game you're talking about where he had a big game kind of bought some time for him. If he didn't have that game, I'd probably cut him already.
Yeah.
But that game gives me a little bit of hope that there's something there for him. Ryan, Adam Troutman, cut him or keep him?
Got him. I mean, they're not showing him, man. We have one target, two targets. Like, it's not part of the offense. Jameis doesn't like it. Jameis has never really thrown to tight ends. Like, it's just not there. Slant Boy's coming back. No, I'm done.
Yeah, he was a popular breakout candidate this year. Definitely did not live up to that hype. Another guy, you see how I planned this perfectly, Linda? Another guy that was a popular breakout candidate this offseason, somebody you loved, Mr. Cole Comet. Cut him or keep him?
I'd just like to, for the record, you said loved like it was past tense. I still love Cole Komet. He's getting a top 10 tight end target share. The problem is the Bears are passing the least in the entire league. So he will be a part of that offense. I didn't account for Matt Nagy being a piece of shit. That's my bad. That was a miscalculation on my part. But I do have hope for Cole Komet in the long run. But I think this season, I've been cutting him in leagues, in my redraft leagues, because I just don't think that passing volume is going to take a big jump forward at any point this season. So unfortunately, it's not the Cole Komet breakout I had planned.
Yeah, I'm
you
definitely.
You guys remember when Nagy was a genius?
Yeah, when he was.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago. Long time ago. Yeah, I'm with you too. I'm cutting Cole Komet as well. Any offense that can kill Allen Robinson can kill Cole Komet as well, because Allen Robinson before this season was pretty much quarterback proof, and he's not so much quarterback proof anymore. Last one, Ryan, another tight end, Robert Tanyan.
I feel attacked. I love Robert Tanyan. I'm still keeping him. If you don't have an elite tight end or one of the guys who really broke out, I'd rather have the one attached to Aaron Rodgers. And he's had some games where he's had decent targets. It just hasn't been put together yet. I'm kind of hoping on that magic from last year a little bit. I'm probably wrong on this one, but I still have a little bit of faith.
All right, yeah, I think I'm with you too. Like, the offense is just really good. I do think eventually he's going to catch some touchdowns. I just think it has to happen. I know Rodgers hasn't targeted him much, but I think I would kind of hold on to him just to see.
Javonte Adams is just playing too well.
Are you gonna start him when he catches those touchdowns? Like,
good point.
I'm starting him in the league this week. I'm great about it.
Well, he's playing the Washington
league?
He's the Washington football team, so
is it a dynasty league?
Yeah, I've been some really deep leagues too, like 14 team, 16 teamers. Like, yeah, for sure. Like 50-man rosters. Like, I was some weird leagues, and like I have started this week. I don't feel great.
I don't know.
Just making sure it wasn't like where you have like 12 players on your team redraft. Like,
no.
Okay, let's just re-examine.
And I'm going to blame it on George Kittle. I blame anything bad this season. I blame on George Kittle. So.
Okay, that makes no sense, but okay.
I'm starting because Kittle's out again.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I had that situation too, and my Kittle replacement was Dawson Knox. Now he's out too, so I'm really screwed. All right.
Going for Two Live and PlayPickup.com present the pickup props of the week.
All right, prop bets of the week is brought to you by playpickup.com. Look for play pickup props embedded in all of our articles at goingfor2.com. Play those prop bets. Be sure to enter your phone number to verify those picks, and you can win some free stuff. Visit playpickup.com for more details. And we're going to go through 5 props from Play Pickup, and the first one was designed specifically for Ryan. Lamar Jackson versus Joe Burrow. Who has more total yards week 7? So rushing and passing yards here, Ryan.
So when I originally saw the question, I kind of was like thinking, oh, Burrow might throw for a lot. But you know what? Burrow's 13th in passing yards right now. And behind Lamar just on that. Cincinnati's pass defense isn't great. Cincinnati also showed last year how much they struggled stopping a running quarterback, Lamar, who's just roast them on the ground. And there's the fact Baltimore's defense just had a huge improvement last year, bringing back my boy Deshaun Elliott, who just helped shut down one of the most prolific offenses in the league. I'm saying Lamar.
All right, I'm going to challenge you a little bit too on that Bengals defense because they are much improved. I think they're 4th right now in DVOA in passing defense. So I'm actually taking Burrow in this one. I do think Burrow is able to get enough passing yards to eclipse Lamar Jackson's rushing and passing. Linda, what are you going with here? Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, total yards.
I'll go Joe Burrow just because I think the game script leans more towards him having to pass the ball.
All right.
That's the only reason I questioned it, because of the game script. And I hope I'm wrong because of that reason.
Yeah, and it looks like the field agrees with me and Linda. Joe Burrow is at 66%, Lamar Jackson at 34%. Next one, I'll go to you.
Doesn't know anything.
I'll go to you first on this one, Linda. Melvin Gordon versus Javonte Williams, of course, in the same backfield. Which one has more total yards this week?
Give me Javonte Williams because it's going to happen. His breakout is going to happen, so I just keep saying it's going to be this week until it is the week that it happens.
Fair enough. I don't know if something happened to your mic. I don't know. You sound like you're talking in a tunnel all of a sudden. I don't know if you turned your mic off or... Ryan, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, more total yards.
Yeah, I'm with her. It's like what versus Comet says. I'm going Javonte Williams because the big game's coming, man. He's like, it's right there. Like he's having big plays here and there. It's bound to happen. Even though Melvin Gordon just went Ethan Cal Yates this week, so he might be playing pissed off.
Yeah, I'm going with Javonte Williams as well. I put a tweet out today, the top 5 running backs in forced missed tackles. Williams is up there at number 5, believe it or not, even though he's had way less carries than everyone else in that top 5. I think 34% of his carries he's forced at least one missed tackle, so that's tops in the league right now. So give me Javonte Williams in this offense for more total yards. Field agrees with us, 33 for Melvin Gordon, 67% for Javonte Williams. All right, Ryan, we'll go to you this time. 2.5 passing touchdowns for Rodgers over under against the Washington football team. You going over that?
No, I'm going under reluctantly. The way they've run the ball so well, they're getting a lot of touchdowns on the ground. And betting on 3 in a game where they should be leading most of it might be pushing a little bit.
All right. So what about you, Linda? Over under 2.5 pass touchdowns for Rodgers.
Man, I'm going to go over. I think they'll be extremely efficient right out of the gate and then kind of milk the rest of the game. But I wouldn't be surprised to see. I don't think there's any humility left in Aaron Rodgers right now. I don't think it matters that they'll probably beat the brakes off a Washington football team. I don't think that will make any difference in how many touchdown passes he throws.
Yeah, I think I'm going over as well for that exact reason, too. I mean, Rodgers has the ability as a quarterback that's been around for a while to call basically his own play, his own audible. I could see him audibling out of a run play in the red zone just to throw the ball into the end zone. I think that's what's going to happen. The field is split actually 50-50 on this one, so this is a pretty close one. All right, next one. Over under passing yards for Daniel Jones versus the Panthers. And Linda, I'll go to you first on this one. The over under is set at 279.5.
I'm gonna go under. Daniel Jones is, and it's not even like fully his fault because the offensive line is a mess and his wide receivers can't stay healthy, and now his running back is also not healthy, and it's just like literally nothing is breaking this kid's way. So I just don't see 200. What, 270? Is that what you said?
279.5. Yep.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. Against Carolina, I just don't see that happening.
Yeah. So you're going under as well, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, he's topped that number once this entire year, and that was against the Saints, where he threw 40 times.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen again, man.
I agree, and I think his passing options are very limited right now. A lot of them are injured. I think most of them will be out. It'll be ugly for sure. All right, last one here. Who leads the Dolphins in receiving yards versus the Falcons? Your options are Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, or other. Ryan, who are you going with on this one?
Jalen Waddle, dude. Like, he's getting heavy targets. He's super talented. He's their wide receiver one. Like, it's Jalen Waddle. No doubt.
All right, Linda, who are you going with? Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, or somebody else?
I think Jalen Waddle has the most receiving yards, but I think Mike Gesicki leads in targets.
I like that. And I think I'm going Waddle as well. We saw last week that when Tua was in the offense, he just looks for Waddle a lot. I think he had 11 or 12 targets last week, so I think Waddle gets the receiving yards. And yeah, I think Gesicki will get a ton of targets as well. He's seen quite a bit of targets in this offense. All right, that's it for our prop bets of the week. Again, guys, visit playpickup.com or visit any of our articles. You'll see the widget there that you can vote on these prop bets. If you verify with your phone number, they keep track of everything. If you get them right, you earn points, and those points can then be traded in for swag, free tickets to stuff. There's a lot of cool things you can get, so visit playpickup.com for more details. All right, let's get to some of these listener questions. We'll kick it off here with Tommy Carlson Safralia. I'm going to butcher all these names. All right, so he's currently in first place. His team is the favorite to win it all. It's a PPR Superflex League. He has no picks this year or next. So which side do you prefer on this one, Ryan? It's Cordell Patterson, a 2022 third and a 2023 second is one side, or Keenan Allen?
This is the grossest answer I think I've ever had to say. And it's the Cordell Patterson side. And it's not for the reasons that he has no picks. It's because Cordell Patterson is having a ridiculous year and doesn't make sense. And Keenan Allen's been a little bit forgotten in that offense and regressed a little bit. But Cordell Patterson's somebody I've been comfortable starting this year. Plus, he's picking up a couple picks for it. Like, I like that.
Yeah, and Keenan Allen's getting up there in age too, so who knows when he's going to start regressing.
I feel so wrong answering that, though. Like, I feel like it hurts everything inside me to answer like that.
All right, Linda, what about you? What side are you going here? Cordell Patterson for a 2022 third and a 2023 second, or Keenan Allen?
Yeah, I'm definitely going the Patterson side, which feels strange. I do think Keenan Allen has some positive regression and gets back to kind of where we expect Keenan Allen to be. But obviously, it's been the Mike Williams show in LA right now. So, but I still lean the Patterson side. He's clearly the second best offensive weapon for the Falcons, which is insane.
Yep.
And plus, you get the picks. So.
Yep. I think I'm with the Patterson side as well. If you were struggling, maybe not, but Cordell Patterson for this year, plus the picks, I think can help put your team over the top there. So, yeah, I'm going with that one as well. All right, Bobby Mason. He's excited about his – I guess he must have already pulled this trade out. Superflex League. He is getting this side. He's getting Patrick Mahomes, a 2023 first, and Najee Harris. And he gave up Alvin Kamara, Jerry Jeudy, Dalton Schultz, Jalen Hurts, and a 2022 second. It's a lot to take in there. But Mahomes, Najee Harris, and a first for Kamara, Schultz, Judy, Hurts, and a second. Ryan, what you got for this side?
So kind of just bring it down a little bit. I'm going with the Mahomes Najee side. Obviously, Mahomes super flex is borderline the 101, depending on who your QB1 is. Jalen Hurts is good, and he's been awesome for fantasy. But there's literally a chance he might not start Philly next year. It really could happen because they have 3 top 10 picks at this moment. Alvin Kamara is getting older, getting a little bit less usage, and Najee Harris is getting the living shit ran out of him.
Yes.
And I think Judy and Schultz are more than enough compensation to make up for it. And that first and the second is nice too. Like, I think it's a good deal for them. I always say get these super elite players, and I think you're getting the top dynasty player and another guy who should be a high first round pick in dynasty next year. So yeah, I'm good.
All right. What about you, Linda? You agree with that, or do you have a different outlook?
Yeah, for sure the Mahomes, Najee Harris side. I think Najee Harris is going to work himself pretty clearly into a top 3 dynasty running back position in the next year or two. And Dalton Schultz is a product of an offense that has far too many weapons, and so he gets targets in the end zone. And, anytime that he's left open, that's where Dak looks. So I'm not sure about his dynasty outlook. I'm very nervous about Jalen Hurts. Like you said, it's a legit concern that he's not a starting quarterback next season, in particular not a starting quarterback for the Eagles, even though he's been fantastic for fantasy. That's where fantasy versus real football takes a hit.
I think he should be, but I don't know if he will be.
Yeah.
Like, he's fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, he's only 10 games into starting in his career. Like, it's not. He hasn't got. I feel like we're talking like he's about
with zero help from a head coach.
Yeah, I mean,
zero help with a moron and a head coach. Like, I think he should get it, but when you have that many high picks, there's a chance he might not.
Yeah, that's a good call. And I agree there, too, with Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think he's not gotten a fair shot. We talk about Miles Sanders not getting the ball. I mean, that's just crazy to me that you've got a quarterback in the second year and you're not giving one of your best players the ball to protect them a little bit. It's just crazy to me. But looking at this trade, I agree with y'all. Mahomes and Harris side for sure. I think Harris, we've taken age into account. I think Harris and Kamara kind of cancel each other out. So you're looking at Mahomes in a first for a bunch of Schultz, Hurts, Judy I like, but what's he really going to be in that offense in a second? So I would take that deal all day long. So I agree that he got a pretty good deal there. Next one we got is Sacha Merrington, and he wants to know, is Henderson, so Darrell Henderson, is he truly a one-year rental? And what do you think about his value next season, assuming that Akers is back, Ryan?
I think it's getting blurry because I don't know if you can assume Akers is going to be back right away. Achilles are tricky, and anyone we've had with medical background on the shows always told us how tricky that injury is and how hard it is to come back from. And if Akers is the whole way back, or if he's a step slower, or something's off, Henderson can still see value. Will he be this workhorse that we're seeing this year? I don't know, but I think he still has a really good fantasy value regardless.
What about you, Linda? What are your thoughts on Darrell Henderson?
I think Darrell Henderson will be a extreme zero running back target next season. He'll get talked about in that aspect all during draft season because I like watching Darrell Henderson run. I think he's a good running back. He can catch the ball. He runs hard. But definitely if Cam Akers comes back and does get back to full health, it's going to be a concern for him. But they'll work him in just like they do with most major injuries. So Darrell Henderson will definitely have some value to start the season for sure. And it'll just I think he'll have to prove himself again next season.
Yeah, I'm with y'all both. I think it's Henderson for me. I own Akers in a bunch of leagues, and it's sad to say, but Henderson has this job, and when Akers comes back, I think he's got to earn that job back. And if Henderson keeps playing the way that he's playing this year, he won't give that job back. So I like Henderson going forward beyond just this year. All right, let's get to our final segment.
Get ready for goingfor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, so we are 7 weeks into the season, and we've gotten some really good answers to this question this year. Some of the best ones we had for the whole entire show. So, Linda, you got a lot of pressure on you here. Who do you have for your Forgotten Fantasy Player?
It's like extra bad news that you had to lead with all that information, because this was the part I was most panicked about on the show sheet. Because I have not been playing fantasy football that long. I started playing fantasy before I ever started watching the NFL, at all. And so the whole, players that I first started watching are just now starting to retire. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's been a very short shelf life. So I'm going to talk about a player that hasn't technically retired yet, but is currently not on a team, and it's Todd Gurley. Because here's what happened. When I got addicted to fantasy football, when I was like, this is it for me, I have to play this game until I'm the best ever at it, was because I had Todd Gurley the season that he was putting up double-digit games every single week. And my co-commissioner, the guy that I co-commission all of our home leagues with, came over, we're watching a Monday night game, we're playing each other in fantasy football. I need 3 points from Todd Gurley. I'm like, I got this. This is an easy win for me. We're going to hang out, drink a couple of beers, watch football. Sure as shit, Todd Gurley puts up 2.4. And the entire game is just I'm just sinking into the couch in distraught. And I'm a sore loser. I'm a loud winner and I'm a bad loser. So he just didn't say anything. It was a very awkward Monday Night Football viewing. And I never forgave Gurley. I didn't draft him again ever. I was like, we're done. You ruined me. I don't ever want to lose another game of fantasy football. So Todd Gurley is my he is the beacon of light to the passion that I have for fantasy football, while also being the guy that I dislike the most because of the hurt he caused me.
That's actually an awesome story. I know you said you haven't been playing very long, but the story behind that I think is really cool. The way he's the one that got you hooked on fantasy, but then he's also the one that kind of showed you what fantasy could do to you. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right, that wraps the podcast up. We'll go around the room here. Give us your Twitter handle one more time. Tell us where we can follow you and what you're working on. We'll go to you first, Linda.
You can follow me on Twitter at Lindellions. I do weekly kicker rankings. You didn't hear me say that, going for 2. And if you are a fan of Big 12 or the Oklahoma State Cowboys, I do a Monday through Friday podcast called Locked On Pokes.
Good stuff. Ryan, what you got going on?
Basically, same as usual. Find me on Twitter at Foss534. Find me here every Wednesday night. Find me over at the NFL Draft Bible. We do our Dynasty show. It comes out on Wednesday mornings.
Good stuff. As always, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. You can follow the show at Going for 2 Live. Make sure you check out all of our shows on Going for 2 Live. We have one live pretty much every day of the week during the season. We got DFS. We've got your season-long fantasy. We even have a show on Tuesday that's more just about sports in general. So check us out, of course, on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, anywhere you can find podcasts. For Ryan, for Linda, I'm Jeff. We'll see y'all next week.